Hi guys, today I want to show you how to make some music in the style of the old video games, kind of like in NES, Atari, things like that. So let's start out with Logic with an empty project and with a new software instrument track. Alright, first thing you're going to do is go down here to the input and input the ESP. It's a really simple synthesizer, doesn't have a lot of options, but that's good because the old video games didn't have a lot of different musical effects. So first thing I want to do is just go to the basics. I'm going to turn down all the oscillator wave types except for this one, just to pick one for example. And then turn off all the effects. So push 0, that turns off this part. Push 0, this turns off this part. Keep the volume up. That's already down. Keep the resonance down. Overdrive down. And then the frequency you actually want to be up, because as this gets lower, the more it's going to cut out more and more of the sound. So we want this to be full so none of our sound is cut away. So if you listen to it, play it, this is what you have. Now a quick way to make it lower, you can play a lower on the keyboard if you want, or I just like to do this. This is 1 octave lower, this is 2 octaves lower. And I think I feel like making a song in this range. Alright, so now what I want to do is just test out the different wave types. So let's put this one down, try this one. And let's try the square wave. I personally like the square wave a lot. This square wave is an octave lower, this is 2 octaves lower. So they're not a different sound, they're just lower. And this adds noise. So we don't want noise, we just want it to be a pure sound. Now, this is a really important part of any synthesizer. It's the envelope. The attack is how the beginning of the sound sounds. So if it's all the way down, the sound is full at the beginning. If it's up, it'll take a long time for the full volume of the sound to occur. Just listen. So we want it to be a quick onset because sounds back then were just instant. Okay? The decay, if it's all the way down, it's going to decay all the way right away. We don't want it to decay at all, so we're just going to put it all the way up. The sustain is the volume that the synthesizer stays at once the decay happens. But since we don't want it to decay at all, we'll just keep the sustain excuse me, all the way up. So now the sound doesn't die out at all. The final thing is the release. If it's all the way up, well, I don't want to do it all the way up because it takes forever. If it's pretty high and you let go, it takes a long time to fade out. If you do it down here, it'll fade out right away. So this is what we want. We're already to the point where it sounds pretty much like that old video game sound. So you could stop here. Now I like to add a little overdrive. Makes it louder, so let's turn the track down. It just distorts it a little bit, makes it a little bit kind of funkier. Alright, so let's get out of that. Now that we have our basic sound down, you could stop here, like I said. But I like to do one more thing. You go into Inserts, which is the Effects section. Go to Distortion and go to Bit Crusher. The Bit Crusher just reduces the amount of resolution that there is. So it makes the sound kind of almost a worse quality, which is good because it emulates more that older sound of the synthesizers in the 80s. So let's just keep these options like they are, the default, because I was playing around with it and I found out that if you just add a little bit of this, it makes it sound pretty cool. Now if you want to listen to it before you added the Bit Crusher, just click Bypass and you can listen. Turn it back on. Now of course you can mess around with these. Let's try turning the drive off a little bit. I like that. Feel free to mess around. I took a while messing around with this beforehand, so this is not by any means the only way to do it. You can turn this up, just find a sound you like. Now, as for the actual writing of the music, when I write music in the style of the old video games, a great place to start is just octaves. I'm playing a C and a C, just with my left hand. So let's create a basic track with that. Now, in case you don't know, to record, I pushed R, or you could just click this. Now, good thing to know, very good shortcut, is hold Control, Option, and it becomes a magnifying glass, and you can just drag, and it'll focus right on there. Now, once you're focused on here, make sure it's selected, that's the black line. Click Piano Roll, and you can drag this up and see the actual notes you just played. And then one more thing, when you're focusing on a section, you want to click this, Set Locators. Because then when this locator is here, that means it'll just repeat this section over and over. So let's listen to what we did and watch it. Now, I didn't tell you this either. When you push play, you can either just click here or you just click the space bar because it's easier. Now this note right here sounded a little short, so let's make it a little longer. Alright. Now there's some weird rhythms in there, it's not perfect, so what I want to do is quantize it. Quantizing it takes away the tediousness of trying to drag each note to the perfect spot. So what you first have to do when you quantize is figure out the length of your notes. Each of these little ticks here is a quarter note. So that means that these are eighth notes. So make sure your region is selected, go over here to the region information box, go up to eighth note. And as you can see, it made our notes perfect. So now let's play it. Perfectly in rhythm. Alright, now that we have our bass line down, let's just turn the piano roll off for now. And we want to create a new track, the melody track. So you can either just create a basic track, or my favorite button, this one, creates a duplicate track. So let's do that. Now our instrument is the same. We have the exact same synthesizer we can add to it. So we don't have to do any of that work again. Okay, so I'm going to play this region and it's going to repeat over and over. So I can have a chance to just improvise a melody. So I'm going to try that. Alright, I have a basic idea of what I want to do. So the great thing about the region 2 is that when you push record, it'll instantly go back to the start. So you don't have to drag this back or anything. So now that I know what I want to do, I'm just going to push R and make sure this track is selected and record it. Alright, let's click the piano roll. I like watching what I played. And let's play it. Sounds pretty good, but again, I think we could quantize this to make it a little bit more accurate. So what you can do is the same thing. Go down, make sure this one is selected, and quantize it. Now, before you quantize it, you have to know what the value of your notes are. Again, this is quarter notes, so these are actually 16th notes we have here. If you quantize it to eighth notes, it's going to mush these 16th notes and these 16th notes together. Listen. It takes away the 16th notes because it fits everything within the 8th note. So we don't want that. We want 16th notes. Now it's perfectly fit within 16ths. Let's listen again. I'm going to make this last note a little bit longer. And then one last little thing. I think this bass line should stop a little earlier. Let's see. I think these three notes are not good. I'm going to increase this one. So let's listen now. Alright, and there we go. There you have it.